Some of this looks like art.
I think it's stupid. I really do.
It's more intellectual than raw and basic.
A smutty joke.
Graffiti is really, I think it's sad.
Oh, that's powerful.
I don't think that it's really a form of release for people.
What I do comes from the heart, from the spirit. It takes guts.
I have never seen anyone actually write on a restroom wall.
Where some find solace in the confines of a lowly public toilet cubicle, others see it as an opportunity to partake in something deeply human. Bodily functions aside, if you venture into basically any urban public restroom, you'll be reminded that the space you temporarily occupy has been home to countless weary travellers before you, with many of them leaving a mark of their own. Graffiti in bathrooms is something humans have been doing for thousands of years. In Pompeii, examples were found perfectly preserved under layers of ash. The Roman poet Martial even mentioned toilet graffiti in his epigrams, treating it as its own form of literary culture. By the 18th century in England, toilet graffiti had become so common that someone using the pseudonym Hurlo Thrumbo published The Merry Thought, an anthology of real graffiti found in public restrooms. Through it, we get a rare glimpse into the private lives of people living in Georgian England, and are reminded that in many ways, people back then weren't so different from us. In 1966, folklorist Alan Duns published an article called Here I Sit, where he too studied bathroom graffiti, and in doing so he coined the term latrinalia as a way to describe it. At first glance, graffiti on a wall appears to be the same whether in a toilet or on the street. But the work behind the cubicle door reveals much more about human nature than what you would think. Latrinalia in public toilets is us our most exposed, both physically and emotionally. But why do we do this? The most obvious answer is that it's because of a perfect combination of a space that is both public and private. Somewhere you can lock yourself away from prying eyes and still have your message forced on hundreds of unsuspecting people. For a tagger, this creates a risk-free zone where they can write as much as they want. But what's really interesting is what's written by people with seemingly no interest or connection to the graffiti world. The low-risk aspect means that latrinalia attracts people from all walks of life. Sophia Kingshill wrote about tagging as a folk practice in the Big Issue Takeover by 10 Foot. And I think that what she talks about is also true for latrinalia. She explains that humans have been leaving marks in their environment since the days of cave painting, usually as a simple way of communicating, I was here. This practice occurs almost everywhere that people go, and latrinalia seems to occupy that same coincidental part of mark making that's existed since prehistory. People surely don't go out in search of a toilet to bomb. Someone happened to have a pen in the loo and spontaneously decided to write "I love fish and chips" in the ground. Academics have proposed several ideas about why latrinalia is so common. Alan Dunn suggests that the psychological motivation for writing latrinalia is related to an infantile desire to play with feces and artistically smear it around. While this might help our understanding of random scribbles, there are also examples of latrinalia being written as an effective communication tool. I'm sure we've all found ourselves witnessing a conversation between strangers laid out on a bathroom wall for all to see. Often multiple people weighing in on serious topics, or arguing about something unimportant. But strangers connecting via latrinalia extends much further than just writing. Phone numbers are super common to see in public restrooms, often accompanied by physical descriptions or the promise of a good time. They are a clear example of latrinalia being used to make physical connections with other people. Phone numbers in bathrooms have even played a part in enormous issues. For instance, an article in the Washington Post talks about how members of the Jane Collective, an underground abortion service in 1970s Chicago, distributed their phone number by writing on public bathroom walls, allowing women to access their services discreetly and safely. Most psychological studies on latrinalia are mainly interested in the differences between graffiti found in both male and female toilets, as well as what it says about how we act when in a gender-specific place. study by Fisher and Radke from St Mary's University in Canada found that men's graffiti predominantly featured tagging and insults, while women's graffiti focused more on topics related to love, relationships, alliances, and same-sex sexual behaviour. These differences are colourfully illustrated by artist Scott Kelly, who between 2016 and 2019 photographed 100 public toilets in London to gather thousands of images of latrinalia. He found that the word love was used 40 times in total, with only one of the instances of love being used in male bathrooms. And when it did show up, it was used like this. Some suggest that merely being in a gender-segregated toilet can make you hyper-aware of your own gender, and therefore, for latrinalianists, the gender within their writing can be over-exaggerated and conform to how each of us feel our own gender should be portrayed. It's challenging to think critically about something that stems from so many places, and maybe isn't anything more than just drunken fun. Some people undoubtedly think that latrinalia destroys whatever bathroom it's in, and it's okay if you're one of these people. It's obvious that it isn't something for everyone. In media, graffiti is often used to portray somewhere that's abandoned or just generally unsafe, and its presence in public toilets is most likely a major inconvenience to pub landlords that just want their pub to feel safe. Mikhail Bakunin once said that the urge to destroy is also a creative urge. And this is so true for bathroom graffiti. Whether you think it adds something or takes something away, the fact that it exists at all is evidence of a primal desire in humans to express themselves creatively. Ultimately though, when looking at it through a lens unaltered by psychological studies or gender politics, I think that bathroom graffiti is just funny. I've used loads of really interesting articles and academic papers as research for this video, so go and have a look at them and let me know what you think. If you could subscribe and leave something nice in the comments, that'd be really cool. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I will see you in the next one.